And in this example, I'm going to go ahead and ask the questions, and depending on which question, we could have a whole other page of questions that we can ask Stephanie or our patients to help them focus on the fact that they could have a challenge with their heart or with their arteries, and give them a chance to really get present with the fact that they could be at risk depending on their risk factors. And this is one of the ones that we're going to test as well, and from this we're going to give them their result. So I believe your blood pressure was at 140 over 84, right? Was the average? So 140 over 84. And if you can see this, Whitney, you can see right where I put it on there. Also, when I'm giving them any results, it's important that I'm doing their results with a red pen. So the red pen are based on the results that we get on this form. We use a black pen or a blue pen for the other information on this sheet. So at the very top here, Whitney, it says screening is performed by, this is Trevor Crane. And it does go very smoothly, by the way, when this is already pre-populated before Stephanie's sitting in my seat. And then I get Stephanie. And Stephanie, is that how I spell your name? How do you spell your last name?
A-L-L-E-N.
And you can go ahead and turn that back on me here. What's your email address?
S-A-L-L-E-N 89043.
Okay. And you don't have to give me the rest because we don't want everybody emailing Stephanie. Okay, so I'll get her email, I'll get her information, I'll have her sign. This just shares that this just gives you authorization, or us authorization, to do this scan, and that we're not making any medical claims. So I can have her read that very specifically right now, or I can read it to her myself. By participating in this, because it's really small, you can read this for people. By participating in this cardiovascular screening and signing below, I acknowledge that the information should not be interpreted as a medical diagnosis or recommendation for a specific treatment plan or course of action. It cannot replace the advice of your physician. By participating in this screening, you're also authorizing us to perform the test being offered. I also acknowledge that this screening is a test only, and if any conditions exist that are not detected, we're not liable, and the doctor that we're working with. My results, because this is you signing, your results will be compiled as a broader health survey and will not be individually shared. Now, the other thing is, I want you to notice this, it's important to get the signature in the right spot. Stephanie signed right here on the disclosure statement, but I want her to sign on the signature spot and also to date it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is an important part for our liability start. And again, I would prefer that we have this done before she sits down at this station. What I like most to do at this station is to move right to the Bpro testing. But it depends on how you set up your practice. So the next thing I'm going to ask her these few basic questions. Again, I prefer a longer questionnaire, a little different questions that will give you access to as well. But Stephanie, do you know if you have any high blood pressure or high cholesterol?
I have unstable blood pressure.
Unstable blood pressure. What does that mean?
That means under times of stress, it goes very high.
Okay, so then she does have some high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to, this is another important thing. Every time I discover something that could be a potential risk factor for Stephanie, it's important for me to give it importance. Mm-hmm. So it's important for me to go, wow, oh my gosh, really? And really connect with Stephanie about her potential risk factor. Wow, tell me more about that. Is it real? Every time that you get stressed, your blood pressure goes up? Wow, really? Oh, geez. Well, and that's it. It's just really making it seem like it's important, because it's important. And it's important that we have Stephanie get real with the fact that this is a potential risk factor for you, for your heart and arterial health and your cardiovascular health. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
And this is another important thing. When we ask questions, we control the communication. We control someone's focus. So using words like, does that make sense, is a great question to ask. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense? Cool.
Yes.
Do you have any vascular disease or high cholesterol?
No.
Okay. Do you have you ever had a stroke
No.
or heart disease or kidney disease? Okay. Now, because these all fall within this category of, do you have cardiovascular disease? And we did click yes. We did hit the button, fill in the dot for high blood pressure. We're going to go ahead and say yes, she has some pre-existing cardiovascular disease challenges, because it falls within that definition. Now, this is an important one. Stephanie, do you have any biological relatives with cardiovascular disease?
Yes.
You do? Who? Now watch. Stephanie, do you have any biological relatives with cardiovascular disease?
My father's mother.
Oh my goodness, really? So this is where I'm going to give her a lot of focus, like, wow, you do? Who? My father's mother. What happened? What was her challenge?
I think she had damage from diabetes.
She had diabetes too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's one of our risk factors for you potentially having some challenges of your own. So anybody else in the family other than your father's mother with any cardiovascular,
No.
ever have high blood pressure or high cholesterol or on any type of medications like that?
No.
Not on either side of the family. Okay, that's great. Now, every time we hear something that is healthy, we want to celebrate with them, that make her feel good. Well, that's great. Well, there are some potential risk factors because it does run in your family a little, but it's good that it isn't elsewhere. So that's awesome. I'm going to make her feel comfortable, because oftentimes the person sitting in this chair is a little scared about what's going to happen. And Stephanie, are you taking any cardiovascular medications? No. Do you use tobacco?
No.
And do you have diabetes?
No.
Okay. But you did say that there was diabetes that ran in the family. Okay.
Yes.
Well, so that's the first part of this test. And what I like to do again is to have these questions already answered before they get to this spot. But if she's at this spot, we have to answer them, ask them and answer them. That's okay too.